We have Drew Favre back on the show just because there is so much for me and Drew to unpack that we can literally have our own podcast show together. But what we want to talk about today is problems that we see in the coaching space, standards that aren't being met, and how to meet them to be the best coach possible in the online fitness coaching space. Because in today's day and age, online fitness coaching pretty much has no barrier to enter. So the reason why the market seems saturated is because literally anyone can put online fitness coach in their bio and they're open for business. But there's no level of standardization in terms of quality of coaching. It is the best coaches in the space that are making the most money. It's the economy of one factor, in the sense that all the coaches or all the clients are going to a select few coaches at the top. And so we want to show you guys how you become one of those top coaches in the space. So we got Drew. Drew, welcome back.
Glad to be here, bro. And I want to add to that too, before we even really dive into it. There are people who are at the top of the space who aren't great coaches and don't run good programs. They're elite at marketing, but what happens, be in the game long enough, they always fall off.
Yep.
Without fail, they always fall off because first and foremost, like at the end of the day, fulfillment as a coach and getting results for your clients is the most important factor of building a business that's actually going to last you. So even if you're phenomenal at marketing, eventually you do enough shitty jobs and word is going to spread, reviews are going to get had, people are going to be mad at you, leave comments, and like you just won't, like that machine burns out very quickly over time. And I've seen it with people who blow up on social media. They have a really good ad strategy, but they have no back end fulfillment and they don't actually know how to coach, and they end up failing in a year or two or maybe even 5, but it's not a business that's going to last for their entire career.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've seen it firsthand. When I first started in the online space, really pushing online coaching, there was a good handful of coaches that I was friends with that launched their online coaching business aside me, and they have thrown in the towel. They've gone and they're doing other things now because they couldn't build a long-term sustainable career because they didn't actually care about coaching. And that is a huge problem that I see in this industry, is that people think it's a money grab, which you can make a lot of money doing it. But the coaches that are going to last and the coaches that are going to build, really, really long-term results are the coaches that genuinely care about coaching. And that is actually something I see few and far between.
Yeah, 100%. And there are a ton of great coaches out there, but a majority of the people who are getting started with this, like you said, they're more interested in a cash grab, and like they'll see PTBI or they'll see another program like PTBI and programs that are promising to make 6 figures and beyond, and like, oh, I can do that, I'm in decently good shape, but they don't understand physiology or psychology at all. And so they're getting people in their program and they're just not able to get results. And like you said, they just don't even really care.
Yeah.
That's the foundation of all of it. You have to have the knowledge, and we're going to talk about that. You have to have the systems in place to fulfill an online coaching program. But more than anything, you just have to care about people first and foremost. It's a people business. You have to care about people. You have to be willing to go above and beyond for your clients and make sure that they're getting the service that they paid for and getting the results that they invested in.
Yeah. So let's start from the top. When I see a coach, I can typically see right away whether this person has it or whether they don't. And I have actually been told by students in my program that have dropped off, because, not every single PTBI student is a success story, but I've been told by students in my program that's like, hey, this isn't actually for me. I just saw this as a way to make money. It turns out I'm not actually passionate about, this type of business. And for me, when I see someone coming in, typically the signs that I see of someone who's going to build a very successful business is people who are investing not only in their business, but also in their fitness and nutrition education. It's the coaches that are hiring mentors, not for more clients, but how to get better results for their clients. John Rojas is a really great example. I think PTBI is probably the only program that he's ever invested in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
After that, he invested into a hormone mentor. He invested into a, what's the...
Gut health.
Gut health, yeah. A gut health mentor. He has
his own coach.
Yeah, he's invested into bodybuilding mentors, posing mentors, things that allowed him to become a better coach. And that allowed him to build a business that's doing more than $30,000 per month with just the investment of PTBI. Yeah. And so I would say like the coaches that have real long-term longevity or you don't need more strategy in terms of business, but you need to become a better coach. So when you look at a coach, what are the telltale signs that you see of like, oh, this person got it, or this person is, going to fizzle out?
Well, first and foremost, I think you can just feel somebody's passion and energy, right? Like you just know if somebody genuinely cares about fitness, they care about nutrition, and they care about people in general. There's an energy that comes from individuals who are just in it for money, right? But secondly, I think for me personally, what I always look for is like just a basic understanding of metabolism and energy expenditure. I've had many conversations with people who are brand new to PTBI where, people will reach out to me because they know you and I train together and they see the transformations that I have. So they'll come to me for advice, and I'll always hop on a call with anybody in PTBI to give them some guidance. And almost every time without fail, the coaches who need the most help with delivering as a coach, the first foundation is just understanding metabolism and understanding energy expenditure as a whole, and then expanding from there. I think most coaches, when you get your NASM certification, I have a NASM certification, they don't really explain what it means like to break down somebody's total daily energy expenditure or understand somebody's basal metabolic rate and their non-exercise activity thermogenesis and the thermic effect of food and all of these things that go into total daily energy expenditure. Most coaches just don't understand that. And once you have that understanding and you have it on lock, most clients you can get great results with like that. Mm-hmm. You have to continue to expand your knowledge after that because of course there are other people who need other things, hormones, gut health, all these things are incredibly important, but that's the foundation. And when a coach doesn't understand those things, that's always the first thing I tell them is like, you need to go deep into the realm of this. You need to be able to spit fire facts. You need to be able to understand somebody's circumstance with their energy expenditure and their metabolism and how to improve their metabolism over time. You need to be able to do that effortlessly. For me, that's the biggest telltale sign.
Yeah. And I would say that information right there is literally what produced majority of the results for my coaching business when I was a fitness coach. I struggled even with my own fitness journey. I felt like I was spinning my wheels for years, but as soon as I understood macros, dude, my results skyrocketed. Yep. And as soon as I started applying that to my clients online, their results skyrocketed. So much to the fact where I worked with a lot of beginners who simply just wanted to lose weight or build muscle. Most of my program was just dialing in their nutrition and then providing I would say entry-level workout program and just focus on getting them to show up. It wasn't a complicated training program. Yep. It didn't have like these crazy, splits. It was just, hey, let's just show up on working out and let's dial in this nutrition. And that got majority of the results. And what's crazy is that I don't see that information in all the commercialized education programs for personal trainers.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Yeah. What's crazy is that a lot of people think that getting a certification will open up the gateway to getting client results, but people don't understand that certification also has an ideal client as well. And for online coaches, you're likely not the ideal client for someone for a NASM program or an ISSA program. NASM and ISSA typically focus on helping trainers get in the door to work with elderly people in person. Yep. You're going to learn about balance. You're going to learn how to, get someone to stand up from a chair without falling over, but it's not going to teach you the skill sets that you need to help someone who's, 20, 30 years old lose body fat or build muscle.
Yeah. I would say even the nutrition focused courses from these big, institutions, if you will, they give you so much fluff and so much like general health nutrition information, but it does not apply to fat loss, muscle building, and metabolic adaptation and improving somebody's metabolism over time, which is the quintessential, that is coaching.
Yeah, that is
like coaching. That is coaching, especially if you're coaching beginners. Once you get more advanced and you start working with people who've been in the gym 5-10 years, the training aspect of it is also very important. But most online coaches are looking for people who are out of shape, trying to get into shape. I'm assuming that's what most people in PTBI are doing. That's all it is. It's literally helping them burn fat, build muscle, and improve their metabolism. And none of these courses teach that. And that's why I've been pumped, dude. All of 2024, we've been working on something behind the scenes. We've been slowly adding it into PTBI's curriculum, where I've basically been taking everything that I've learned, and not just me, just other coaches as well, all our information, and compiling it into a course of like, okay, here's how you're actually going to get your client results We didn't put any fluff in there. There's no BS information like in the NASM nutrition course that I went through. There's so much fluff. I had to take quizzes on shit that I've never thought about since I've helped hundreds of people transform their physique. I have never thought about 90% of the things that I learned in that certification. So I just think, people are misled. You know, it's the same way like the mainstream media controls the mainstream narrative in general, not just talking about fitness, just as a society as a whole. Well, these NASM, ISSA, these are mainstream sort of companies, and they control the mainstream of the fitness, at least for those who are unaware and aren't in the space enough yet. Maybe somebody who just invested in PTBI or is thinking about joining PTBI and becoming an online coach. Like, these are the places they're going to go because they seem the most reputable. And like on paper, technically, like they are technically the most reputable. But when you get in the space, you quickly learn, this isn't helping me do anything. Like, I understand the micronutrient value of this one thing, but how is this going to help this person burn fat? It simply isn't. And then another huge part of coaching that most coaches don't understand is the psychology of it as well. It's not just physiology. So for those who are unaware, physiology is like the body. Psychology is the mental. There is a huge mental and emotional aspect of transformation. And you have to understand humans, not just like how our bodies work, but how our minds work and how our emotions affect our actions and what habits do, how habits are built over time and how to rewire habits. A lot of coaches don't understand these things. And then that brings us to, we talk about this in almost all the content we make. As a coach, it starts with you. You have to go through this process and you have to understand this for your life and yourself. And you need to go through the transformation first. You cannot help somebody go through the transformation that you haven't gone through, because you can read up about, oh, this is what's going to happen at this point. These are the physiological effects of this. They're going to experience more hunger, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is how to rewire a habit. But until you've created new habits and until you've experienced the elevated hunger from fat loss, the fatigue, the soreness that comes along with it, all the things that come from going through a transformation, if you haven't experienced it yourself, that's really step one, because you have to live it to understand it. You can read about it all day. And I'm a big advocate of education, of course. That's why I'm literally creating this course. I've spent the last decade studying nutrition, metabolism, hypertrophy, fat loss, the whole nine. It's incredibly essential. But more than anything, you have to live it. You have to live it and breathe it. And then you can implement all of the science that you've learned to go along with it.
Oh yeah, dude. It's a huge problem that people start their fitness journey and they think, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
Right. But they haven't yet gone through the trial and error of going through a full, complete transformation before they've gotten or before they pretty much earn their stripes to be able to pass that knowledge down to others. And honestly, too, just to backtrack on the certification, you have to look at what the certification business model is. These certifications are in bed with gyms, and all the certification does is give you a ticket so that way the gym can hire literally anyone off the street and say, hey, they're a certified personal trainer. But what I've seen is that majority of the certified personal trainers that we bring into PTBI have no more of a clue what to do than people who have simply just gone through their own rabbit hole. And in fact, people who have gone down their own rabbit hole, they know nutrition, actually know more because they're being educated by people that are actually doing it in the space rather than just a quiz to allow you to get certified so gyms can hire you. That's pretty much the business model that they're in.
Yeah, I think talking about it and bringing awareness to people who are interested in online coaching, hopefully it helps bring awareness to it, because it's all connected, you know, like it is a business at the end of the day. I mean, their business is not to help you build this ultra thriving business and help you become the greatest coach possible. Their business is, like you said, to get you a ticket in the door to become and like the actual personal trainer certifications. I've been talking about nutrition certifications this whole time, which I also think are BS. Most of the time, there are some good ones out there, but most of them are BS. But the personal training ones specifically, those are useless. They're worthless. Completely useless, a complete waste of time. When I was like 18, I got one of those. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I'm never going to apply any of this because it's not useful to the people I want to work with.
I remember taking my certification at 18 years old, and I was like, what am I even learning? Because it's not helping me apply this to the clients that I want to work with at all.
Yeah.
Honestly, too, and the certification test was a breeze. It was kind of a joke.
And dude, I'm getting fired up here.
Yeah.
Like, we don't go to commercial gyms anymore, right? Every city we live in, we go to essentially the dopest gyms we can find.
Mm-hmm.
Those gyms typically have really good trainers. Those people have hundreds of transformations themselves. Those people that are training people in person are also helping them with their diet. And like at Dragon Slayer, there's some trainers, they're good trainers. You can tell, we can look at them and say, oh, these people are legit. That's 5% of personal trainers, what you see in the gym. The other 95% at the mainstream gyms, like my dad, he's here in Vegas. He's been visiting for a month, and he's training at any time right there. He's come to Dragon's Lair a couple times with us, but he's a little injured right now, so he's just kind of doing his own thing. And he's like, dude, these personal trainers have no clue what they're doing. He's like, it's painful for me to watch.
Yeah.
And the reason they're all at that standard is because, like you said, the test is a complete and total breeze. It's so easy to get certified and start training people in the gym that people who are getting certified and maybe even thinking about transitioning to online coaching, they have no knowledge of what it takes to help somebody go through life-changing transformation. And that's what we do as coaches. It's not just, oh, we're going to help somebody lose 20, 30, 50 pounds, or we're going to help somebody build more muscle and gain a little confidence. Like, this is a life-changing transformation, and it is not easy for a majority of people. Food controls people. Any sort of instant vices control people. They keep people lazy. People are unmotivated. The masses as a whole are lazy, unmotivated, and uneducated. To get those people to transform is not an easy thing, and it is a life transformation. And if you're a good coach, you leave people completely better in life than when you found them. To me, that's the best part of coaching, is like a year later, after I've coached somebody for 6 months or a year, to come back and have a conversation with them, and they're thriving, their family is better, they got a promotion in their job, or maybe their business is crushing now, and they've stayed consistent. A year later, they look the same, or maybe they've even improved a little on their own. They haven't gone back to their old ways. That's how you know you're doing a phenomenal job as a coach. And that's what it's about. It's not about helping somebody just lose a little weight really quickly. And I just think the mainstream industry as a whole just looks at it totally wrong.
Yeah. I always tell people, I try to dissuade people from getting certified, because I say, look, if you're looking into starting an online business and you want to work for yourself, the certification not only isn't going to help you build a business, but it's not going to teach you anything that you can actually apply. All the certification is going to do is allow you to go get a job in person, which again, isn't going to teach you how to build a business and isn't going to teach you anything actually applicable. Then people have this thought process that I'm going to go get certified, I'm going to go work in person at a gym to build up my clientele, and then I'm going to start my online business because it'll be easier. But what I've always seen is that the trainers that are coming to us in person have just as hard of a time starting an online business, because it is completely different. And if your goal is to start an online business and your plan is to take this massive detour with in-person training to eventually, dude, you're better just going straight to the source.
Yeah.
You're better going straight to the source. So the certification literally has no use. However, you do need to be qualified as a coach to start an online coaching business. And for myself, I remember I learned more through specific podcasts on bodybuilding than I did in any certification course. So curious, for people who are looking into starting an online business and they know they can probably brush up on some skills and learn the basics for coaching, how did you go about that process? Where did you learn? Take them down the journey of like what you would recommend on giving someone the skills to get equipped to become an online coach.
Yeah. So I essentially did the same thing. In the very beginning, it was, it's kind of embarrassing. I was very much a bro science guy. Like, I loved old school bodybuilding, and all the old school bodybuilders and all the people who love old school bodybuilding completely went against like modern science. Like, they just really put down modern science. So for a while, I was just fucking meathead, like that's just the unfortunate truth. And for me, what actually started happening was I had my own transformation, and I prepped myself for multiple shows. I really wasn't that educated, though. I just have a decently good physique and relatively good genetics and a strong work ethic. So I was able to get away with it. What happened for me is people obviously saw what I was going through and what I was doing. And like, hey, can you help me out? And I learned what I was doing with people. I wasn't charging them either. I was doing this all for free, which is another rabbit hole we can go down. Until you have some proven transformations, you probably shouldn't be trying to charge money for your service. But I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. But I learned like, oh, this isn't working. What I did isn't working. Mm-hmm. There must be more to this than this. So then I started going down the YouTube rabbit hole of like, Lane Norton is a phenomenal source of education. Lane Norton also sells a course that's really in depth, that's going to actually be applicable to coaching. Similar to what we're building with PTBI right now, that is a course that is actually applicable. So people like Lane Norton are a great source to go to start to learn the basics of everything. And that's really what I did. I went down multiple different rabbit holes and I spent thousands on different courses in education, but not from NASA, not from ISSA, but from real authorities and experts who have helped thousands of people. And that like, it's cool because now we're creating one for PTBI, which is really exciting. And I've been building it all year. It's been a really cool passion project for me. But that's really where it started, was taking like an independent researcher sort of mindset and gathering information from this person and this person, comparing the information. Oh, they both said this, looking at the credentials of these people, and then applying it to people as well. And I think that's really important, is like, if you want to start online coaching and you've had your own transformation, first and foremost, if you haven't had your own transformation and you don't like embody what you're hoping to teach others, take all that information and apply it to yourself.
Yeah.
Or what I also recommend, we talk about this a lot, hire your own coach to go through the process yourself. I've coached many people in PTBI at this point because they understand, similar to John Rojas, the significance of having a coach. Even if the coach isn't like dead set on teaching you all of these different things so you can become a better coach, simply by going through the process, you become a better coach. So honestly, that's really one of the best things you can do, is take that independent researcher mindset, but also hire your own coach. Find somebody that you vibe with, find somebody that you believe is reputable, that has a proven track record, and hire them. That's one of the best things you can do, is experiencing yourself.
Yeah. And I don't recommend hiring someone that's also starting out.
No.
We're not saying hire a coach for the sake of hiring a coach. Just because your friend is going to give you a deal to become their client, that doesn't equate.
No.
Find someone who has a reputable name in the industry, that has a track record, that's even put people on stage. Even if you're not a bodybuilding client, those bodybuilding coaches can still teach you things that apply to everyday people, because majority of the market wants to lose weight and build muscle. So you're going to take a lot of the bodybuilding practices and apply it to everyday people, just not on an extreme scale.
Yeah, just not as intense.
Yeah. And think about it this way. If you're going to spend $400 a month on a coach to take you through a transformation, that is the same level of investment that you would spending $400 on a business mentorship program. And you'll probably learn more that will apply to your clients and make you a better coach, that will in turn give you more business.
Yep.
Right.
And I don't know what these NASM certifications and ISA certifications are going for, but it's probably a similar investment if you're going to work like with the coach for 6 months. They're probably like $1,000, $2,000, I would assume, minimum for these courses now. It's been a while since I've purchased one because I woke up.
Yeah.
But that money invested with a personal coach opposed to a certification, uncomparable. This is throwing it down the drain. This is a for sure investment into you becoming a better coach.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. And there's no way around that. As long as, of course, like we said, you're not working with your friend who's also trying to get in the game.
Also, too, if you have a bad experience with a coach, don't let that deter you from hiring another coach.
Yep.
There are great coaches out there. There are really shitty coaches out there. If you end up making a poor investment in a coach that doesn't take you seriously or doesn't deliver, then just hire another coach, because you will find the one that teaches you everything you need to know on getting your clients results and building a good business.
Yeah, 100%. That's facts. Damn, dude, we were on what was the topic we were on just now? Before that we were talking about the route that people should take.
Yeah.
That, I guess that was the conclusion of that.
Yeah, what I'll say too is I took my, and I'll say this humbly, I took my ISSA certification and I didn't have any better idea on how to train my clients online. I took a NASM certification, and again, had no better idea on how to train clients online. I took a precision nutrition certification, and that one was actually pretty good. That one focused on the psychology of human behavior and how to get people to break their nutrition habits, which I thought was great, because that's actually more applicable than all the sciencey terms they're going to teach you about what a carbohydrate is. But I really didn't start understanding coaching until I listened to Lane Norton. I read all of his books. His books are expensive. They're about $100, but they were so worth it because I literally just took his principles from that book, applied it to my clients. I'm like, oh, this works, right? Same with Mike Matthews. Mike Matthews is a really, really great. He's a little bit more mainstream, not as sciencey, but he does back his stuff up with science. But his stuff is really, really great and applicable to, general population online coaching. So those are two really great sources that I pretty much learned 90% of, fitness coaching from, and they pretty much built my business.
Yeah. And it's arguably the most important part. What a business mentorship like PTBI teaches you is also essential. Like, I hope we're not putting off the vibe that having a business mentor isn't incredibly important if you want to build an online coaching business, because it is just as important. But we're trying to say that the nutrition, the training, the psychology, all of that is just as important as the skill of attracting and acquiring clients. They're one-to-one. Neither is more valuable than the other. They're both incredibly important. But after a certain point, this is to all the coaches who are already in the game, that knowledge in coaching is going to be more valuable than some new strategy or challenge.
I was literally just going to say, you can invest in your fitness and nutrition education and build a business just off of that. Might not be the cleanest business, but you can do it. You might not, things might not be optimized. It might be pretty messy, but you can do it. You cannot invest into a business mentor and build a long-term sustainable business just off of that alone. If you're going to invest in your business, you also have to equally be invested. You can do one without the other, but you can't do the other without the one.
Yeah. You don't have to do it all at once either, right? It's like when you're getting started, maybe you only have enough money to invest into a program like PTBI in the beginning. That's when you take the independent researcher route. And then, once you got to that investment or whatever your financial situation looks like, as soon as you can, hire your own coach, or invest in like the Lane
certification, or like a more specialized certification,
which we're kind of providing that now with PTBI. So,
but a specialized certification of things that actually matter, like hormones, gut health, even mindset too. A lot of coaches, when they get to the 10 to 15K per month mark, maybe they're not ready to fully scale yet, but they ask me, what should I do with this money? How should I reinvest it? And they go join another business mentor and they learn nothing that's dramatically. I'm like, dude, take that money, invest it into the other areas of expertise that's required for your job, because people aren't investing in you to learn more business stuff. They're investing in you to learn more fitness and nutrition. So the more money that you could put in that area, you only need to know a little bit about business to build a six-figure business, even multi-six-figure business. But the more you know about fitness and nutrition, the more you can be an expert. Simply word of mouth will take your business so far, just purely based on your knowledge and expertise on the results that you'll be able to give your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. For me for a long time, and even almost still right now, word of mouth has been one of my main sources of clients. And it's because of the type of results we deliver for our clients. And business is super important. You run ads, you do what you have to do, but PTBI also still has a great word of mouth. This person brings in this person. I got referred from a friend way back 3 years ago now. Word of mouth is an essential part of it. You have to have the business skills as well, but the foundation of everything, if all of it goes away. For example, my Instagram got hacked about a month ago. I still had right under a 10K month right now with literally no Instagram.
That's fine.
Which was my main lead source. Word of mouth, got a few referrals, a few clients who I worked with from years ago, signed back up, piffed. That's how you know you're doing a good job. And that's why I haven't been stressing on not having Instagram. Dude, the thing is still doing its thing, and we're going into other lead generation strategies now. But
let me ask you this. what are the main differences between in-person training and online coaching? And what are the skills that are missing for in-person trainers to be able to bridge the gap with online coaching?
I think communication is one of the most important skills that personal trainers might lack when it comes to transitioning online. So really the biggest thing, if we're going for like the mainstream personal trainer, there's a distinct difference between a mainstream personal trainer and a successful online coach.
Define a mainstream personal trainer.
So the mainstream personal trainer is the personal trainer that you see at the Anytime Fitness or the EOS Fitness, who's just kind of taking people through random ass workouts and doing
On their phone.
Yeah, they're not even spotting people. Like
They're just getting the clients that walk in the door.
Exactly.
Salesperson signs them up for a $3,000 package.
Right.
Says, hey, I just sold you a client. You don't even know their name, but you're going to train them for 12 weeks.
Good luck. You don't even know what their goals are or anything, right? That's what I'm talking about. That person lives in a completely different world than an actual online coach. This mainstream trainer we're talking about doesn't even understand how to communicate with people to actually help them transform. They know how to stand there and take them through a workout. But even a really good personal trainer, I feel, would probably struggle with, and I know this to be true because I know some really good in-person trainers who are scared to go online because the communication online is different, right? You have to be able to communicate effectively through text message. You have to be able to communicate effectively through like a Loom video and understand what somebody is going through without being there with them. And that requires not only you having a high level of communication, but understanding how to get a high level of communication back from clients. That's one of the most important things that I learned when I was first taking it full time. I'm like, why is this person not checking in? Or why is their check-in so bland? Why aren't they giving me the information I need to help them through their journey? I wasn't asking the right questions. I didn't understand how to get that information from them to understand their pain points. It was just random generalized questions. So I think communication is a huge part of like knowing what to ask, how to ask it, and when to ask it as well to make sure that you can fulfill the service online. And yeah.
You know, it's really interesting. I feel like there is a little bit of cope when it comes to in-person trainers because they're scared to go online because they say, oh, but my client won't get the accountability that they need, or I won't have that personal relationship with them. And it's like, your client is paying you for results and you can't, what's the word I'm looking for? You can't compensate your skills as a coach for the relationship. You can't just go purely off of, I'm providing value because I have a personal relationship with this person versus I'm providing value because I'm actually getting this person results, which online coaching is focused on. In-person training, you're just going to walk them through a workout, but as soon as they leave that door, you have no idea if they're drinking margaritas on the weekends. You don't know what their weight is when they wake up. You don't know anything because there's no accountability outside because you're focused on the client that's walking in. As soon as they leave the door, your focus is on the next client. Whereas with online coaching, you have a much wider range of accountability because you have the time to be able to check in on people's lifestyles, not just their workouts.
Facts. When you get to that point where you're a personal trainer and you have a successful business and you're in that mindset that you're talking about right now, it is cope. That's such a funny word to use, but it is cope. Like all my clients that need that, if you're running your program right, they're going to have more accountability and more support.
And they will love you more because you're getting them better results.
Correct.
And if you're scared to go online because you don't want to sacrifice the personal relationship, it's cope.
It's cope. And also, a huge part of a personal training business, and we have friends who are still in-person trainers, they're focused on the extreme lifetime value of a client. We're also, of course, as coach, we don't want people just coming to the program for 3 months and leaving, but they'll work with clients for 4 or 5 years in a row. And that's what they cling on to that. And they're like, oh, well, this person needs this.
Yeah.
No, that person needs results. They shouldn't need you for 4 to 5 years. And that's why online training is so powerful. And the online coaching is really in my opinion, the superior way, because you're teaching, right? The age-old saying, right? You feed a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teaching a fish, he eats for a lifetime. That's what good online coaches do. They teach people how to eat correctly, how to build new habits, how to train properly. So after their 6-month or year-long or 2-year, I've worked with people for 2 years. After that time is done, they don't need me to check in on them. They don't need me to adjust their macros. They don't need me to say, hey, you had 3 reps left right there. And another big part of it too is your online program should have a training aspect to it. All of our clients send us training footage and we give them feedback. So you're not even missing out on that aspect of it. If you're running your program correctly, you still see what your clients are doing in the gym. Sure, you're not there to say, hey, you got 2 more. But if you're a good coach, you see the footage, you say, hey, tuck your elbows here. And by the way, you had 5 reps left right there. I know it might burn. I know it might hurt, but you had 5 reps left right there. So I want you to push a little further next time. And if they respect you and they respect their coaching or your coaching, they'll do it next time. And it's a superior way, in my opinion. It truly is.
I agree. And I think that coaches who are in-person trainers who have the same roster of clients for 5 years, you're not teaching them any more fitness at that 5-year mark. I guarantee you're walking them through a workout and you're having a conversation that has nothing to do with fitness.
Yep.
What kind of value are you adding to your clients that you could actually teach that person over the course of 6 to 12 months, but also teach it to way more people online rather than that person sucking up your time to have a conversation about things that aren't even related to fitness? That's taking opportunity away from all the other clients that could potentially learn from you. And now you're just looped into, having conversations all day. And also too, if you're training with a client for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and you're having this kind of conversation, guarantee their progress has probably stalled. And now they're just paying you to show up with them for the gym.
Yep. And people like personal trainers like that, right? Because they develop real friendships with these people.
It's comfortable though.
And it's very comfortable. And I get it, but you can do the exact same thing online. I have had clients who have now become lifelong friends. How did you and I meet?
My best friends in my life are all people who became students of PTBI. My closest friends in my entire life are all PTBI students that graduate to a level of friendship.
Yeah. And not every single person you work with online is going to become a friend, just like not every PTBI student is going to become a friend. That's not the intention of it, but you can still develop real relationships with people. But here's the difference. That personal trainer that's been working with that person 4 or 5 years, still getting paid to show up and have almost a friendship at the gym, right? The difference is you provide an insane level of value for 6 months or a year or 18 months. You provide that level of value for them and you teach them to fish. They get the transformation. They know how to keep the results. Now the friendship is truly organic because you've helped them transform. Your role as a coach is now complete. They're not paying you anymore. So now it's even more genuine of a friendship with the person that we vibe really well. You're not going to vibe on that level with every single client, of course, but that happens. And I think, to me, it's more natural and more organic than like, oh yeah, we have a great relationship in the gym and they're just paying me for my time every time they come to the gym. That is almost transactional in a way. If you're viewing it from that perspective of like, oh, this person enjoys my time, like that's very transactional. Like I'm going to be here to talk to you for an hour and you're going to pay me $100 or whatever. Most trainers aren't even charging that, but yeah, it's like, it's a more organic way of developing actual friendships through the people you help. If that's part of why you want to do this.
100%. There was something I was going to say, but it just, I don't know if this is something that you've seen, but it's something that I've seen with personal trainers coming into PTBI that want to go online. And I every single time I know this is going to come up. Personal trainers have a really easy time signing their first, 9 to 12 clients online, but they have a hard time making that jump. And the reason they have a hard time making that jump is because as soon as they decide that, hey, I need to make this jump to go online, a new client walks in the door and they think, oh, one more won't hurt. But then they get stuck there. And I call it fast money versus slow money, or today's money versus tomorrow's money. You have to sacrifice today's money in order for you to build tomorrow's money. Because ultimately, you know tomorrow's money is going to be better when you eventually build it, meaning that you can go online, you can work for yourself, you can have the freedom of being able to coach from your laptop and go work anywhere rather than showing up to the gym and essentially having a 9-to-5 and your office is the gym. But they're not willing to say no because they're like, oh, well, you know, it's really, they get into the habit of like, I know how to close this person. It's an easy money. How does someone bridge that gap?
That's a great question. I didn't have to experience that personally.
I always say that they just have to quit their job. Like, if you can get 9 to 12 clients, like at that point, you know you can do it. You just have to fucking quit.
Yeah,
because the in-person job is literally,
it's going to trap you.
It's golden handcuffs.
Yeah.
I mean, this happened recently to Andrew Reese, who's a friend of mine, or a friend of ours from San Diego, great in-person trainer. And he's always wanted to get the online going. He's always been able to have anywhere between 10 to 20 clients online, but he's never been able to go full time because there's always someone new walking in the door every single day. And there's always just one new person and one new person. And recently he decided that he was going to quit, and he's actually made the commitment to go online, and I'm extremely proud of him. And I told him, dude, that is the absolute best decision that you could possibly make, because trying to balance both at a certain level becomes impossible.
It's literally impossible. I had this exact same conversation with Andrew Reese last month when I was in San Diego. I was like, dude, the transition might be hard and scary. It's going to be the best decision you ever made, though. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the best decision. And look, for the personal trainers, like the question you talked about earlier, who have a stable and steady and easy income with personal training, and they aren't financially prepared to fully quit and go all in with coaching, you cannot take any more clients.
Yeah,
you have to keep just enough. And look, because I went all in. I had a different job. I wasn't in-person training. I straight up quit my job with no business and had to build it from the ground up. And it wasn't the best decision from a financial perspective. So if somebody's looking to be a little safer than I was, I totally understand. So I want to speak to that person right now. Just don't take more clients. Keep just enough to cover your living expenses and put a little money away every month, or whatever your financial goals are. Keep just enough to live as minimally as possible and pour all of your extra time into this. Don't take that extra $1,000 a month from that person that's coming in, because that's going to be more time. There's going to be another one and another one and another one. Once you've decided that, okay, I like this online thing, I know this is what I want to do, cap yourself.
No more.
And that's tomorrow's money versus today.
And that's really hard for in-person training. I've seen more in-person trainers fail online coaching because they're not willing to quit the in-person training, and eventually the online fizzles out, and then they're still stuck.
Yep.
I always tell people, when you're an in-person trainer and looking to go online, one, stop taking in-person clients. Keep your roster. That's totally fine, but don't take any new clients. Second, once they start to dwindle, consolidate your training sessions into either days of the week or hours of the day. Don't be going in and out of the gym because someone wants to train at 5 a.m., then someone wants to train at 10 a.m., then someone wants to train at 3 p.m. That is going to crush your productivity.
Yep.
Either put all of your training sessions in the evening or all of your training sessions in the morning, so that way all of your evenings are dedicated to online business, or all of your mornings are dedicated to online business. Or even Monday through Thursday training, and Friday through Saturday online, and then Monday through Wednesday training, Thursday through or even, Monday through Thursday online, and then Friday is all of your training sessions in one day, and then stick to it.
Yep.
If you've moved all of your clients from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., and you have one client that wants to train at 9 a.m., you tell them no.
Yeah.
And it's so hard for people to do.
Yeah. And that sounds like that's like a dream. Yeah. Like, dude, you have so much time if you're willing to do that. You have so much time to build your online business if you're doing that. And here's another thing too for in-person trainers. Forget the guy's name. We had a cigar session with him the other day. He's an in-person trainer, and a huge benefit of being an in-person trainer is you can create very valuable and specific content, because you're seeing the mistakes that people are making in the gym, and you can make it in the gym with them. So even though you're training people in person, you can still use that as content for your online business and just position yourself as an online coach on social media.
It's real-time feedback.
Real-time feedback for content.
I think it is a superpower.
It is, because for most coaches who don't have a lot of experience, they don't necessarily have that feedback, and they don't have that information to say, oh, this is a common pain point, or, oh, everyone makes this mistake on that pull downs or whatever. So they're like grasping. And if they're in PTBI, then PTBI is going to give them many ideas for content that people are struggling with if they don't know it. But if they're not in PTBI and they're trying to build their online business, they don't have that. So as a personal trainer, that's a huge advantage. You do have that in real time every single day. So you have a conversation with one of the people you've been working with for a year and like, yeah, you know, blah, 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 blah. I struggled with this week. Like, that's ammo for content. Having a relatively consolidated roster as a personal trainer trying to build an online business is a cheat code, really.
Yeah, it can serve you. Where it hurts you is when you have one client at 5 a.m., one client at 9 a.m., one client at 11, a client at 1, a client at 3. You're never going to get anything productive done.
Ever.
It's tough. It's tough to switch tasks like that. But let's wrap things up with some takeaways that someone can make. If someone's looking at a certification and they're making the decision of whether to go in person or just start online, what pieces of advice would you give them?
I have one sentence. For them is just fucking do online training. Like, it's plain and simple. Like, personal training, I don't want to disrespect really good personal trainers here, because there are really good personal trainers who really enjoy personal training, but it's such a small percentage of what most people end up doing as a personal trainer. It's such a small percentage. Personal training is not what you, like, how am I trying to word this? It's not what you think it is. Online coaching also isn't what you think it is, but the difference is in-person training is a bit of a trap. It really is a trap. Online coaching is like a pot of gold. Like, you don't understand how good it can get when you're on the outside looking in. Personal training may seem more enticing, but it's actually, they pull the rug out from under you and you realize this fucking sucks. So I would just say, like, make up your mind to just commit to online coaching. Educate yourself to the best of your ability with nutrition, training, fat loss, metabolism, which you can do for free online. You can absolutely do for free online. Get as much information as you can. Get as good as you can. Implement it into your life. Go through your transformation. Start helping people for free. And then once you have some transformations, invest in a program like PTBI. You don't have to do all of that before investing in a program like PTBI. You don't, and that's not like a XYZ, then invest in yourself in a business mentorship. They can go simultaneously, but that has to happen if you want to be a successful online coach. Though that course of action pretty much has to happen if you want to be successful.
I will say the path that I've seen our most successful students take is they have some base level knowledge of training and nutrition, right? They don't necessarily have degrees. They might not even have any certifications. They start their business. They learn how to create content, how to market themselves, how to sell, and they get their first few clients. They start making a little bit of money, and then they go heavy into educating themselves with certification.
That's true. Very true.
Yeah. It's Casey Wilson did the same thing. Francis did the same thing. John Rojas did that. Like, our student who recently just hit a 10K month for the first time that joined last year, and at launch, she'll be coming to the retreat. She joined PTBI, and she actually went to college for digital marketing. Joined PTBI to learn how to start a coaching business, and the only education that she had for coaching was what she learned from her own online coach, which was also a PTBI student. So she just passed that knowledge down, and then her business got a little bit of traction, and then she went all in on Sam Miller's course to learn about hormones. She, invested into a certification. That's the best path that I'd see.
Yeah. And Sam Miller too. We forgot Sam Miller. Sam Miller is another one of those sources where you can learn a shit ton from the courses and books that he has. Very valuable stuff as well.
Cool. Awesome, Drew. Thank you so much for hopping on.
Glad to be here, bro.
All right. Peace.